Hello, friends. Today we're going to read a book called Bear's First Christmas. And this is by Robert Kinnerk and illustrated by Jim Lamarche. And on the back, they give us a little hint of something that we're going to see in the story. Here's our title page, Bear's First Christmas. And a bigger title page. So you get 2 hints about the story. Actually, 3 hints about the story. All right, here we go. It started to snow and a bear very young caught 2 or 3 flakes on the tip of his tongue. The coming of snow could mean only one thing. It meant that the bear had to sleep until spring. Down a hill, which was steep, past tall bluffs, which were steeper, the bear trekked through the woods that grew deeper and deeper. He trekked on a path past the lake's sandy shore and at last found a cave with rough stone for a floor. So he had a long ways that he had to go to find his cave because he was getting ready to hibernate. At the mouth of the cave, the bear noticed a tree which struggled to grow where no tree ought to be. In the view the bear got from the mouth of the cave, the tree looked quite small, but also quite brave. As he rested his head on his furry, soft paw, the brave little tree was the last thing he saw. And then his eyes closed on the rough stone. He drifted to sleep, all alone, all alone. The winter closed in and days passed, while the wind from the north blew its shivery blast. On the floor of the forest, the snow rose and rose, and the lakes and the streams and the rivers all froze. The bear slept, and he dreamt of the coming of spring, and the showers of rain and the flowers she'd bring, and the birds who'd return and who'd swoop through the skies. But a faraway sound made him open his eyes. He stepped from his cave and he looked toward a hill. The shadows he saw all remained very still. But on wings of the wind from across a cold ground came the strains of a soft and mysterious sound. So he's hearing something. There's the picture from the back. He's hearing something, but he doesn't know what it is. The bear followed the sound, but it stayed very faint. So it's just a little bit. And was lost by and by in the crow's harsh complaint. The crow cawed and cawed, and his caw seemed to say he needed some help finding food right away. In all those deep woods, there was no one to hear except the young bear, and to him it was clear he'd have to hike home and then search high and low for some sort of food for the shivering crow, because bears usually sleep all winter, so they wouldn't normally need food in the winter, but crows don't hibernate. Homeward he trudged. That means walking kind of like this, with the snow to his knees, and returned with some honey, a comb from the bees. The crow pecked his fill of that treat from the bear. Then he spread his black wings and he took to the air. He followed the bear while the moon hid its face and the stars twinkle cold in the vastness of space. Pretty pictures in this book. They came to a bog where a moose with his teeth tried to scrape at the ice for the weeds underneath. He needed some help, which the bear could well see, so he scraped with his claws till the cold weeds were free. So can you picture that? He's trying to get through the ice, which is cold and hard, and so the bear was able to use his claws, his paws, and to help him get through the ice. You can actually see how the illustrator made it look like he was getting through. The moose ate and he ate. When he'd eaten his fill, he followed the bear and the crow round the hill. The wind whispered sharp and the night grew unpleasant as the bear saw ahead the crushed home of a pheasant. The branch overhead had let loose loads of snow that had smashed the bird's home with the force of its blow. So the branch that was over them got too heavy and the snow dropped and it ruined their home. Let's see what happens. The pheasant had chicks, and the chicks' cries were pleas that said to the bear they were scared they would freeze. A nod from the bear let the frightened birds know they should follow the tracks that he made through the snow, which they instantly did on the chance that they might, with his help, find a place to be safe through the night. On the bear trudged till he saw through more snow a lair or burrow all lit by a glow. Icicles hung from its top sharp and bright. Its sides had a space that was open for light. And what's this inside? That wonderful sound! After all of his trekking, its source had been found, so they found the noise that had woken him up. He crept to the light without making a noise. In the glow of the light were 2 girls and 2 boys. And pealing from them came mysterious words, a sound to the bear like the music of birds. So he had found a house, and they were singing in there. He stood and he stared, and his eyes grew more wide, for there was a wonderful glowing inside, a glow with warm rays like the sun at its rise, a glow cast from faces, a glow cast from eyes, but a glow most of all from the wonderful tree that the beasts out of doors were astonished to see, like they were shocked. A tree dressed in lights, each shiny as dew. What the lights meant, though, no animal knew. They were used to trees, but they weren't used to having them decorated. If you look very closely, you can see a family inside. Looks like a mom and a dad, and it says 2 boys and 2 girls. The last of the sounds faded off in the night. That means that the noise stopped. The children inside were led slowly from sight. Out of doors, the beast stared at the last embers fell. They thought and they thought, but they still couldn't tell what the meaning could be of the music, the lights, and the gladness inside on this darkest of nights. So, what do you think was happening inside? Maybe it was Christmas Eve? Or maybe it was Christmas Day? Doesn't really tell us, does it? But a spark deep inside them gave off the same glow as they made their way back through the drifts of deep snow. Do you ever just feel like sometimes like you just feel so good, like, oh man, it's like awesome right now. That's kind of what it means to have an inside glow. The bear broke the trail and he made it so wide. The moose who was giving the birds all a ride, could quickly and easily follow along as the birds on his back sang an improvised song, which was only caw caw and merely tweet tweet, but was shared, and by sharing grew more and more sweet. So they were becoming friends and they were doing this. They were celebrating with songs together. The bear showed the pheasants his well-hidden den to say they could stay until spring came again. To which all the pheasants were quick to agree, though they and the others all stared at the tree. Remember the little tree that was by the den when he first went in at the beginning of the story? At the crooked, the ragged, the struggling tree, at the tree that was growing where no tree should be. For the moon in the sky had sent down a bright beam that touched the tree's branches and made them all gleam, almost as if in the dark of the night the tree had been graced with the magical light. So the tree had snow on it, and then it was shining. The moon was shining on it. So pretty cool, huh? Lots of descriptions in this book. There was room in the cave for the moose and the crow. They needn't trudge off through the dark and the snow. Into the cave the bear squeezed with each guest, and they all settled down to begin their long rest. The moose and the crow and the pheasants and the bear. They slept in the tree, shed its marvelous light all through the freezing and long winter night. It continued to glow when the winter was done, and the earth had been touched by the warmth of the sun. So now they're out of the cave. They're starting to look around. It's springtime. They're seeing the rays of sunshine. And the bear in new tracks knows the light never ends. It's a knowledge he shares with his wide roaming friends. For each friend, though he roams from the others apart, carries with him inside him that glow in his heart. So even though they went different directions to their different homes, once it was spring, they all still had that feeling in their inside because Bear had shared with them. And they remembered that glowing light. And here he is when he was first climbing in the cave. So I know that's kind of a long story and it has lots of descriptive words in it, but it's a sweet story about a bear that was caring for other animals and helped take care of them. And it's a good example to us, even though this is a fiction story, that we can do the same thing for people that we know that need help. So I hope you have a good day, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.